Hello everyone, one more video. My name is Sofia Tsourlaki, for those of you that you don't know me, and in my channel, my YouTube channel, I have several playlists with videos of different nature, all of them about Islam. The majority of my videos are in the Greek language, because when I started the channel, my objective was to educate the Greek people about Islam. However, things have developed, I have developed when it comes to knowledge, and I have come to the realization that it would be helpful for many people out there, for many Muslims and non-Muslims that relate to Muslims, either through marriage or conversion. So for example, if your sister or your brother or someone you know has converted. Now, I participate in a group in Facebook with a group of women in Facebook, Muslim women or women that they are married to Muslim men. And in this group is, in general, is fantastic. But discussions do bring tensions sometimes. And there have been many requests by some of the sisters in this group that I clarify things, I give them extra information about things. The initial thought was that I will run some classes, some lessons. But given that there is a time difference, some of us we live in Europe, some of us live in the US, others live in the Middle East, so time doesn't help all of us. So the decision is that I will create some videos. And this is the first of these videos. I have no idea how I will name the playlist, but we will see. So today we will talk about what is Hadith criticism. The reason I make this video is because in this group, many Hadith are being posted randomly, majority of them unsound. Not correct Hadith, or fabrications that are presented as Hadith. I'm very critical when it comes to Hadith. So in one of these conversations, I expressed my critical approach, and many ladies, they attacked me. And one was very passionate. God bless you if you're watching this video. He was like, don't dare talk about my prophet and my religion. Habibti, it's not your personal prophet and your personal religion, okay? We're a few billions right now on the planet, and we all have equal right to express ourselves. But I don't, at the end of the day, after so many years, I understand where such reactions come from. And I understand that people, we speak the same language, but we don't mean the same thing. We don't understand the same thing. And when I say the same language, English is not my first language. I'm Greek. My natural language is Greek. I actually learned English 10 years ago. Quite old. But we like it or not, I like it. English is the lingua franca of our era. So it's good to clarify terms. And that's why I will make these 3 videos. Why 3? Because it's a lot of content that I need to present, and long videos are tiring, so I want them shorter. So we will begin with the theory, like if you are in the university, like if I'm teaching you in my class. So what is Hadith criticism? I will start with what Hadith criticism is not. So Hadith criticism is not criticism of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's not criticism of the Prophet's personality. It is not criticism of the Prophet's words. And it is not overall rejection of all the Hadith that we have. We have thousands of Hadith. Those that they practice Hadith criticism do not reject all Hadith. There is a group of people, okay, let's say that. There are some people that they have decided to reject Hadith altogether. And we call them Quranists. And perhaps you have watched some of my previous videos. I did join some of these groups out of, I want to learn. I want to see how it works. Well, it doesn't work. For me, at least, it doesn't work. If you don't have hadith to give you context, to give you, those of you that you are watching my videos about tafsir, you will see that I use hadith in my tafsir. So hadith criticism is not rejection overall of hadith. It's a minority of people the Quranists, that they reject. They throw the baby with the water. These are different people, but most of the people that practice hadith criticism, they do accept, they do use hadith. The point is, though, that they approach this hadith with critical thinking. And now I need to talk, before I continue with what is hadith criticism, I need to talk about critical thinking. Critical thinking is essential in Islam, but at the same time, it is very difficult. And what do I mean? In Muslim majority countries, people are actively discouraged from critical thinking. I remember Fatma Mernissi, in one of her videos, she said that when she was attending a Quran school, the line was, shut up and listen. And she also said that when she walks in the streets of Morocco, because she was Moroccan, the police says, shut up and obey. And in the families, usually, parents address the questions and the curiosity of the children with shut up and do as I say. In the schools, the educational system, which is the main path to, or the main means to cultivate critical thinking, it's all about repetition. If you go to Egypt, if you go to Syria, if you go to any Middle Eastern country and you go to the educational system, I give you, in my country as well, in Greece, okay? We don't have critical thinking. We don't know what critical thinking is. In the school, it's like take the book, memorize the book, and come and, repeat the book. This is not critical thinking. Critical thinking is to take multiple aspects, and we will practice it in the next video, and approach, question. Not question in aim to vilify, not question in aim to, reject altogether. This is not critical thinking. When someone attacks, when someone vilifies, when someone uses arguments irrelevant to the topic. So, for example, many times in social media, when I argue for something, people will come and attack my appearance, my age, the question whether I'm married or not, which I don't reveal because whatever is mine is mine. And they try to attack me on these things, or on the fact that I'm a woman and I shouldn't talk about Islam, on the fact that I'm not Arab speaking and not, native Arab speaking, so I don't know about Islam. But this is not critical thinking, okay? These are accusations, are deviation from the topic because the other person does not have arguments. Another thing that is being confused, especially in Muslim majority countries, with critical thinking, they believe that this is critical thinking, it isn't, is to state an opinion like if it is a fact. So I will give you an example which was it has marked me. So recently I participated in a conference where women scholars were talking about feminism in the Middle East. Now, despite the fact that the panel was talking about secular feminism in the Middle East, a young Afghani male that he was here studying, he stood up, he took the microphone and he was like, oh yeah, but you know what, when it comes to Muslim feminists, they don't have theological grounds. They don't have anything to talk in relation to religion. So how, do we consider Muslim feminists? This was his opinion. Perhaps not his personal opinion. He heard it from an imam or he heard it from his grandfather. I don't know from whom. But he stated an opinion as a fact. He didn't say, some people believe that women, Muslim feminists don't have arguments. He said Muslim feminists don't have arguments. Now, the lady that addressed this question from the panel, the scholar that addressed, I was absolutely excited to listen to her response. She began her response by listing names of Muslim feminist theologians and Muslim feminist authors that they have, dealt with the Quran, with the Hadith, and they do have religious arguments. And she also listed organizations. And then at the end, she said something very powerful. She said, the fact that you don't know about them does not prove that your statement does not legitimize your statement. It only shows your ignorance, which is very important. So this also is not criticism, stating that, oh, this is the case because I think so, or I believe so, or my grandpa told me so. So that, refutes your arguments. No. Stating your opinion as a fact is not criticism. Criticism is sitting down, doing the work, and we will do the work in the next video. You will see how much work it requires. And see whether Hadith in our case makes sense or not, or whether you should follow it. And also, Hadith can exist as stories. But when it comes to practical applications on a daily basis, that's where Hadith are required. So let's go and see what Hadith criticism is. So it's not criticism of the Prophet, peace be upon him. It's not about the Prophet's character. It's not about the Prophet's words. And it's not about overall rejection of Hadith. What is a critical examination of the Hadith, or of the validity of Hadith. And this can happen by checking the narration chain, which is very important, and by checking the narrator's history and credibility. And these are not things that we have invented them today. No. These are things that the forefathers, the scholars, have set these requirements. And I believe Bukhari himself was obsessed with narration, line of narration. However, when it comes to character, Bukhari didn't pay that much attention. It was like, if I have a strong isnad, isnad is the line of transmission, then I take it. But we have many issues with character of Hadith transmitters. And we will see one case in the next video. After this video, I will publish it after 15 days, so stay tuned to see it. We will see the case of Abu Huraira, a highly disputed narrator. Unfortunately, he has given us more than 5,000 hadith. And then we will see on the third, we will see the case of Abu Bakr, not Abu Bakr, the father-in-law of Prophet, peace be upon him. We will see Abu Bakr was another companion. So, it's the narration, the isnad, it is the character of the person, it is the political context, and we will see that in details on the third video about Abu Bakr. It is also, even if we don't have information, because for Abu Bakr and for Abu Huraira, we do have information, plenty of information. Some of the narrators, we don't have that detailed information about their life. But then what we need to think when we approach a hadith is the ethical values. If a hadith contradicts the ethical values set by the Quran, then this hadith should not be accepted in practical application. It can be there as a story, okay? As a bedtime story for the children, if you want it, but not as setting rules for how a person should live his or her life. Also, so one is the ethical values of the Quran. Another thing is the ethical values of the Prophet. So if a hadith comes and says, for example, and this is a real example and we will see it, that, I don't know, I don't want to use the hadith because I want to use it for the third video. We will take another example. Let's assume that there was a hadith which says that women in their period, the Prophet said that the women in their period are impure and they need to be locked in the room. Okay? And then we have multiple narrations and incidents recorded in Sirah. Sirah is the history of the proto-Islamic history, where the Prophet actually cuddled with his wives while his wives were in their menses, not all together, one by one. Okay? And we do have this, we do have narration from Aisha that has stated clearly that when she was in her menses, the Prophet was asking her to put on the trousers for these days of the month, and then he was cuddling with her. So here we have contradiction on the praxis of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and a hadith that comes and says the opposite. So in this case, apparently, we will accept the hadith, or we will reject, let's put it that way, we will reject the hadith that contradicts the praxis of the Prophet. Beyond that now, when it comes to the credibility of hadith, usually nowadays Muslims have this, I mean, it's a lot of work, I admit, it's a lot of work to take all the hadith and examine them one by one and go and check the biographies and go and check this and that. It's a lot of work. So there is a solution for lay believers, is that, okay, if it's in Bukhari, it's automatically strong, it's, we accept it. It's not working like that. Now, when it comes to hadith criticism, the most common accusation when you approach hadith with critical thinking, the first and the most important accusation is that you are a kafir, you are a disbeliever, you converted to Islam to destroy Islam from within, etc., etc., etc. I don't want to disappoint those people that believe these things, but hadith criticism existed since the beginning of hadith. And this is why al-Bukhari traveled all around the world, or the Muslim world, to collect hadith and write down the ones that he believed they were credible. This is a hadith criticism. He criticized and he rejected some hadith, and he recorded other hadith. Okay, so hadith criticism was there since forever. The fact that in the last 2 centuries, the Salafi ideology of Islam has portrayed the, whatever was happening in the proto-Islamic period as untouchable and unquestionable, and if it happened or if it was said, you have to obey. It's one of the crazy aspects of today's world. Another thing now, okay, let's say Bukhari. Excellent gentleman, okay? He traveled, he dedicated his life, he had great memory, and he recorded a hadith. But Bukhari himself was a product of his society, a product of his era, with everything that it entails. And when he took it upon him to choose which hadith to reject and which hadith to record, inevitably his character, his mindset, his understanding of the world played a role. So it's not only the character of those who transmitted, but also the character and the natural inclinations, societal inclinations of those who recorded. Another thing, for those that narrated and for those that recorded, it's the political implications. Majority of today's lay Muslims believe that Islam created and developed in in a place that it was protected by political disturbance. It was a clear field, and everything, went on smoothly on a linear historical direction. It didn't. From the moment the Prophet died, peace be upon him, we started having turbulence, fights with each other. We will see in the next videos. So what were the political inclinations? What were the benefits? Did some of the transmitters, guys, I'm not quite sure if it's transmitter or transmitter. Anyway, did some of the people who conveyed the hadith, or who gave us the hadith from the Prophet, did they have some kind of benefit out of that, out of this action? Now, those lay believers that are listening to me, they might be like, oh my God, be horrified. How dare you criticize? Well, watch the next video, and then the video after that. So this is part 1. Watch part 2 and part 3. And then we will see, based on accounts of contemporaries of those people who transmitted hadith, that yes, there were political benefits and financial benefits and societal benefits. For some of these people, transmitting hadith was their profession, was how they became rich. And trust me, they became filthy rich. very rich. But this will come in the next parts. But yes, to finish this video, supposedly it should be a short video. Hadith over criticism is something that always existed. It does not attack the Prophet, it does not vilify the Prophet, it does not question the Prophet or the Prophet's words. What questions is the line of transmission, the character of the people who transmit it, the ethical values that are in a hadith. In a nutshell, when people criticize hadith, they don't criticize the Prophet. They criticize those people who manipulated the masses and abused their relationship or their proximity to the Prophet, peace be upon him, so that they will be benefited. And then everything went wrong. And why? Because in aim for some to be benefited, they vilified minorities, for example, the women. And we live in 2023 now, and we still have people abusing and oppressing women based on hadith. Hadith that if you dedicate the time and the intellect to examine, you realize that they are unsound, they are wrong, they are false, they are not true. The Prophet never said this statement that is in the hadith. And unfortunately still happens, and that's why we need hadith criticism today. So that's all for hadith criticism, which was the introduction. It was lecture number 1. We will continue. Did I forget something? No, I didn't. These are my notes. I keep notes, so I don't forget. So this is part 1. I will finish now in 2 weeks' time. Come back in the channel, and we will see the example of one of the people that they have left us a lot of hadith, Abu Huraira, and how Abu Huraira by the Salafis and the Deobandis and the Wahhabis and the traditionalists in general is like, oh, this amazing creature. But if we dig a bit on his life, there are questions to be answered. But this in the next part. For now, from me, bye.